Thank you very much for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight. Again, beyond the headlines, I am joined by the Commissioner for Information in Kano State, Halilu Dantiye, for discussion on the controversy over demolition of structures in the state. Dantiye is a former president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors and member of the prestigious National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Jos. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. So some days ago, we had Engineer Buba Galadima on the show, who gave us his own opinion on some of the policies and decisions taken by the governor. But it became very important for us to hear from someone who is a part of this administration for a clearer understanding on the reasons behind the actions of the governor. So once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. So let's start with the new cabinet of Governor Kabir Abba Yusuf. How will you describe it?
Well, I will describe the new cabinet as a cabinet of action because he has been able to identify and bring people that are capable, people that have been tested, so to say, and people that are ready to work, to join hands with him, to realize the promises made during the campaigns. These are people that are specialists in their own, experts in their own fields, people that have been working very hard already to make sure that the policies, the manifesto, the blueprint that His Excellency campaign with have been implemented for the benefit of the people of Kano State. So the cabinet, you can see, is a combination of the young and the elderly. And this is a good combination for any development to be realized. You have the young, you have the aged, you have the experience, you have the people that are coming up. So I think it's a very good cabinet, and given a time, you will see what I'm saying.
All right, so now that a new cabinet is in place, what should the people of Kano State expect from the administration?
Well, you see, it's a constitutional requirement that you cannot govern without a council. There are so many decisions that cannot be taken unless by the council, which is the highest decision-making body at the federal executive council, and the state executive council. Even in terms of money, spending money, there is a limit of how much His Excellency the Governor can approve, and also there is anything beyond that has to go to the council. So without the council, not so much can be achieved or can be done. So the existence or the establishment of the council will help to identify, to help to approve, to help to implement projects. Because otherwise, you can't spend money. You can't, and without money, you cannot work for have development. And also, not only that, other decisions, policy decisions that have to be taken at the Executive Council level to make it government decisions. So the Executive Council is a very essential arm of governance in each state and at the federal level.
So, I mean, what do you consider as the biggest challenge in Kano State that demands urgent attention?
Well, the biggest challenge, well, of course, is we have a lot of out-of-school children, and our priority has always been education. The priority of His Excellency Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is education. The priority of the previous administration, where we came from, was education, and I mean the administration of Engineer Musa Konkoso. So our priority is education. Our second priority is education. Third priority is education. Then we are also concerned about the level of education, or level of our youth unemployment. So there is this huge need for carrying the youth along, trying to empower them, making effort that they're empowered, they're educated, they're given support to sustain themselves. Then, of course, there is the issue of making sure that they don't go into drugs, or we bring down the issue of drugs drastically down. So these are the challenges, these are the priorities of the government. And of course, there are so many, because we are taking over from a government that has virtually run down every sector. So we have two double work to do: one, to rectify, then to implement what we want to implement.
All right, so let's talk about out-of-school children. I mean, you would agree that this is like the biggest nightmare of Kano State. What does the governor intends to do about that?
Yes, I said so. The issue of out-of-school children is a matter of concern to the government. And plus, I told you, part of what we did. I think it's essentially we are continuing from where we stopped, because we are all part of Rami Musa Konko's government. We are part of the implementation of the program he came up with. So once the program was stopped, it was stopped by the previous administration. Then we have this problem. Now, during that administration, which we want to revive, His Excellency the Governor wants to revive, is one is free education, two is expansion of access and easy access, even in terms of support, because the government would support them with uniforms. The federal government was giving them two sets of uniforms, free feeding at primary schools, and building of classrooms, training of teachers, and so on. So once you expand, and once you train teachers, you get more. If they and in case of need, you bring back those that have retired and are able, and all these are under consideration. During that administration, about 44 schools were established, but none of them, when the immediate past administration came, they just virtually killed all of them. They didn't allow them to exist. Even the ones that were existing had to suffer a lot of difficulties in continuation. So in terms of education, I think it's been given, where the Governor Abba Kabir is given education priority, both at the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. And that's why when we come to these things we are talking about demolition, I will explain to you how the things have been done.
So, Governor Abba Yusuf is the only governor on the platform of NNPP. But analysts say he started on a rather controversial note with the demolition of structures erected by immediate past administration of Ganduje. Let me ask you, don't you think this is a bad way to run the government?
No. It can't be a bad way. You can't. How is it bad? He didn't start on a ground footing, because the moment he was sworn in, the first thing he did was to visit the Drug Rehabilitation Center at Iru. Iru is about 60, 70 kilometers away from Kano, that established by Rabi Bonkozo, which was abandoned. And this is not a bad start, because a good start. It depends. You see, it depends on how or why people choose to isolate one action, and even that action was not well analyzed and so on. You cannot appropriate public institutions and say they are right. But when you appropriate them, nobody talks, and when you get them back to the people, then that's when people start. Some people start talking. But you understand that we are taking over from an enemy government, so to say. So they will do whatever they can to change the narrative. But the fact of the matter is this: all these places that were either demolished, are public places that were given to individuals. No, like the governor has said several times, especially during this Salah visit by the MS, you have told them nobody's house or shop was demolished. If they were demolished, it was because they were built on public places, public institutions, in schools, in mosques, in markets, not even markets, but universities. You take over a whole university building and make it a shop. Make shops there. You go to the central mosque, and you build shops, and when people want to pray, you have contracted the mosque. You go to Polytechnic and take part of it and build houses. When the Polytechnic, they are in need of facilities like libraries, like toilets, like theaters, and so on. So it's not really anything about Palestine. As far as the narrative outside, maybe yes, but in Kano, people are happy because when it started, they opposed it. In Polytechnic, the union then 3-4 years ago, not only protested but demonstrated. They said, look, don't take this land because we need this land to build toilets, to build theaters, to build classrooms, to build other facilities, to expand the school because the population is expanding. So if this population is expanding, you need to, buy land to expand the schools, not to take the school's land. You don't go to a whole school like the University of Science and Technology institution that hosts the School for Hospitality and Tourism in Kano, and you just demolish everything. Then they took the students away and build a wall and say you are attracting investors. Which investor would come and invest in public places and then say that you are bringing economic development to Ghana? I don't think that is proper. I don't think so.
All right, Honorable, there have been a lot of reactions to this issue, and people are still reacting. Some people say he is doing this out of hatred for Ganduje. How will you react to this?
There is no vengeance because nothing is personal to him. Look, he has said so. Look, even yesterday he said, the governor said, said, look, I'm the first person to governor to fill my code of conduct forms. And when I leave at the end of the tenure, go and check. I want able to go and check that form and see if there's going to be any change. Which means this land is not going to take part of this land. And it's not going to allocate to any individual, but it's going to turn it to institutions. That's the difference. So there is no vendetta. If there is no vendetta, because the land is not going to be given to any individual like the previous government did, because they allocated to maybe to their families or to their friends or to other individuals and so on. Now we said, look, this land should not be given to any person because the land belongs to schools, the lands belong to the mosque, the land belongs to the people, and the people should now own their land. So what's vendetta there? There's no vendetta. Anybody, I'm sure, even if it were his deputy that took over, I'm sure he'll take this action.
All right, so let's leave the issue of demolition. Governor Yusuf is also going after other policies and programs of the immediate past administration by sacking some employed officials and stopping salaries of others. Why this?
No. Nobody is sacked. Absolutely, nobody is sacked. That is incorrect narrative. Nobody has been sacked. What happened is, so about 10,000 people were employed in about 2 months. And you come to wonder, even if there is no sacking or no stoppage of salaries, what happened? How did you employ about 10,000 plus in 2 months that you have not employed in 8 years? There's a question. One, two. What I think what the governor said, what he did, is that because there are a lot of complaints in the service, because so they said, look, set up a committee for verification, but their salary have to be suspended, because if you pay salary to wrong person, how do you retrieve it? But if you stop it and the verification say he's right or he has been employed rightly, you can pay him backlog the salaries. But when there is suspicion of malfeasance or inappropriate procedure that was followed, then the best thing in service, and that's the tradition service, is to set a verification committee, verify, find out those who have been wrongly employed, or those who have been maybe fake their results, maybe were
But don't you think the governor should have set up these committees for verification before sacking them or stopping their salaries?
No. You see, if you say that, which means now he'll pay salaries to wrong people. So the salaries have to be stopped first. Otherwise, if he pays the salaries to these people for this month, and now he set up the committee, then the point I'm telling you, who will now, if you find out that these people have spent the money, have spent the salaries, and they are wrongly employed, now how do you retrieve that money?
But how do you conclude they were wrongly employed when the verification has not even started or concluded?
No, but when the outcome of the verification now will show. So those that are wrongly employed, of course, they are wrongly employed. The rules and regulations will take its course. And if they're rightly employed, they'll get their salaries. Nobody will touch their salaries. Absolutely not. And it's normal. It's normal in service. It's normal in service.
All right, I've been speaking with the Commissioner for Information in Kano State, Halilu Dantiye, tonight to discussing the controversy over demolition of structures in Kano State.